Bow, bow, bam, bam. Alright, we are recording. It's exciting. We're doing a big video.
Oh my god, oh my god.
Alright. Hey guys, it's Darktastics, or Darcy, and we have...
Baxter, or Cucumber Horse.
Alright, so today, we're going to be making... It's chilly outside. Anyways. So today, we are going to be making a ranking, or a tier list, of all the songs we've produced so far. We're going to be excluding the single of Domino's State of Mind, because it was later released on the album, just for simplicity's sake. And not Where I Belong, because this video was recorded before that. Haha. So we're also going to be including Dragon Failure, which we released as a single. And so, yeah, here we go. Whoa, that's a format right there.
It's also like a general discussion of each of the songs as well. We're not here just to go like, this one's better than this one. I want to have a bit of a talk about like how each one came to be and the story behind each of them and everything.
Yeah, and I've got some, I also have got all of the scrapped lyrics from each of the songs, as well as some lyrics that appeared in ones and then actually went into a different song later on. So for the first one, we have Big Red Holden Commodore. Now, where do you think it lies, personally?
Oh, no, you go first. I'm not going to fucking argue you.
Yeah, so for me, Big Red Holden Commodore is a song that was the first one I wrote, but it wasn't actually the first song that was written for the album. It was originally supposed to be a song about my big blue Ford Escape, because I originally had a big blue Ford Escape, and then about 3 weeks after I got the car, someone crashed into it and I lost the car. It was a write-off. So I then eventually got a Holden Commodore instead. So I'll put the lyrics up on the screen so you can also read it, but I'll just read out what I had written for my Ford Escape, because I think it's amazing what I had made. But yeah. Driving my Ford, welcome aboard. A full tank is gonna go abroad, lands unexplored. I wanna go reshape like an ape in my big blue Ford Escape. Dressed like Drake, gonna make your balls ache, gonna make your butt come like a cream cake. This life I partake, never the Ford I mistake. I take a seat and all my problems take a break. Awake, living the dream that I make. Left turn, right turn, never a mistake. Pump the gas, the 4-cylinder estate. Gotta love my girl, I call her name Bluey. I can pull the seats back just for me and Yui.
The gonna make your butt come like a cream cake line, it's very reminiscent of one of the songs on My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. He has a rhyme scheme that's really similar to that. I think he says he's gonna make none come, and it's really similar to that.
I remember that was actually that followed line. It was highlighted because you came up with that line.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep it.
Yeah, and he did use the Drake one.
Dressed like Drake. I used it in Always Want to Be Sober. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a bit emotional. But it was loosely, silently referenced Big Red Holden Commodore because I called the car Bingo, because obviously my Ford was called Bluey. So you know, if you're an Australian, you watch Bluey. Bluey's sister is Bingo. So the big issue I have with Big Red Holden Commodore was the first song I wrote for the album, and it repeats itself. It doesn't have a lot of creativity behind it. I think it's like it's at and then it repeats again. I think even you had a bit of difficulty making it sound more distinct the second time over.
No, because I wanted to put in the production as I used that little melodic part, of the little like twinkly bits in the chorus, so it sort of turns into something different during that. I like doing that. I know that you had like a lot of really big ideas for that song though, and it sort of didn't come out as big as we wanted it to, because that was when we gotta do a music video for this one where I show off my car, and it's sort of like satirizing but taking advantage of like rap songs where it's like it's all about my car, but it's not that impressive of a car, and that's sort of the comedic aspect of it.
Yeah. I guess I'll say here, there is a future album in the works.
Yeah.
And the plan is to pretty much just take every concept we had originally explored, and if we want to, take it way further. Because one thing I definitely want to do with Big Red Holden Commodore, or at least, I'll probably a different song now, but take the whole concept of my car, it seeming like this big, like, thing that's worth this huge amount of money, but the car, I bought it for like $400 and I've spent like a couple thousand to like pretty it up. So the fact that it's like a cheap old car, I find pretty comedic. So I think personally, I would rank it, I think it's I would probably say, yeah, it's smack bang in the middle.
Yeah, because there was a lot of ideas where we wanted to go with it. Like, I even think, looking at it now, we could have implemented the fact that, like, the story of the car being a replacement and everything, you could have implemented that into the song. And there was heaps of, like, missed opportunity with it, I think. Or it's just one of, like, the blandest songs on there, I think.
Yeah, it did say, I really like the beat. Like, the one thing is, I think, for the opening song of the album, I think it works really well.
Is it the first one?
Yeah, it's the first song of the album. That's why, and like boom, 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 boom. I think it's like a really nice opening. I thought it was really cool. I think it just fell flat with the ideas that I tried to implement.
I think that was done because all of it's like breakbeats for most of it. I think that was done with like I just cut out certain parts of the drums, so it was just those at the start. And yeah, it worked out really well.
Yeah, but yeah, I think it sort of sits around the middle. We might change positioning a little bit later on.
Yeah, no, if there's other ones where I'm like, oh, but this one should be higher than this one.
Yeah, but yeah, I think right now it sits sort of right in the middle at 7. So song 2 of the album, Non-Disclosure Agreement. This was the title track for the album, and this was the second to last song that was actually written for the entire album. The last one was Supercar. They were slightly written alongside each other, but Non-Disclosure Agreement was finished first. Given I ranked it last time, where do you think roughly it would sit?
It was a fucking mess to produce. I think that's one of the reasons it was the last one, because the main thing that's notable was the drums got completely changed in the final version of it because it was just really fucking hard to work with. So I decided, like, I'll replace these, like, I think we had more like clean sort of like, and I just replaced it with like these like clunky sort of like 80s hip hop inspired drums because that was the sound that I wanted to go for more for it. Yeah, so there's the 2-pack sample, the sample with the vocals. I don't even know where I grabbed that from. It's from something.
Bang.
Oh yeah, there's the Talking Bad thing in it. There was the last one, and Film by FX Twin is sampled in it, which is really interesting to me because in that 2-pack song, there's a piano in that, and it's like, they flow together really well. So when I heard that, I'm like, what the fuck, is that like the Ducktastic song? And I genuinely couldn't tell the difference between them. It's hard to rank it because like the fact that it's the title track sort of gives it this little bit of importance where it's like, oh, it's the main one, or it's supposed to be the main thing. I would put it higher than Big Red Hot Commodore. I'd put it in like 6 for now. 6 for now.
I would say I was thinking it's a bit better than Big Red Hot and Commodore, but I think one thing I at least had issues with its production was I think the lyricism, especially in the later part of the song, it should have finished earlier. I should have just finished it earlier.
Nah, because half of the songs on the album are like a minute long.
Yeah, I think that was one thing. Like, I tried to make a longer song, and I think I just didn't fully execute that.
No, I like that it was fleshed out. I like that.
I think the worst part was I folded, colder, I'm the folder, I should have told her, I'm the older, and then I have like Moulin Rouge, El Tango de Roxanne. So here are the only scraps.
What's the problem with that line?
I personally I feel like it's out of place now. I think about it because I just watched Moulin Rouge like the night before I wrote that lyric, and I thought I loved it.
That's great. That's what music is. You're rapping about the experiences that you've had, and it's like, oh, I'm taking inspiration from the media that I'm consuming, and it goes into that. That's what's like great about it.
Okay, yeah. I think my favorite line out of all the entire album is in that. With best head since JFK, gonna need a toupee. Just those 2 lines. Just fucking amazing. And here are the only scrapped lyrics from Non-Disclosure Agreement. It's a scrapped verse. I deleted it for a very obvious reason. Baxter never saw this until I shared it to him recently.
Oh yeah, that's fucking shit.
Yeah. Gonna compose the demon, non-disclosure agreement. My dad and his cancer treatment, gonna act all facetious. He can't beat this. The memories I reminisce. Emotional abyss. It's the good times I miss. The problems you gotta dismiss. It's sad. I deleted it. I remember I wrote that lyric actually a bit intoxicated. And then the next day I'm like, yeah, no, this has to go.
If you literally just removed the name drop of your dad's cancer treatment, I think it would have been half decent.
My man's and his cancer treatment.
That's that sort of one where it's like, you could get away with it if it was more melodic, because there's not much like actual rhyming in it. I think like you sort of have to deal with like different issues when there's no melody to it and it's just like you're straight up saying the lyrics.
Yeah, it reminds me of like the end of 8 Mile, like where like Eminem, like the backing track, like fuck a beat, I don't need one, and he's just like fuck a beat, fuck a beat.
That's what Rice Gum does.
Dude, I love Rice Gum. He was a major inspiration for the.
Fuck a beat, I go a cappella.
Oh wait, no, there was actually another scrapped bit in the I'll leave your ass swollen, your ass would have rolled in. And it was folded. The folder should have told her. It when actually scolded, colder, rolled up, holder, told her that I'm unfolded, mold up, holder, boulder, holder, folder. I'm the folder. I should have told her. I think that was just. I think it was a smart decision. I just cut up because I just chose whatever words rhymed. But yeah, I think non-disclosure agreement, in my opinion, I think it fell a little bit flat to what I'd hoped. But I don't think it's a bad song in any way.
It's not like it's not the title track that it wants to be. Like it's not.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is the standout track. This is the single. It's like it's not.
Yeah. Speaking of single, we'll get to that one eventually. I think that's.
Speaking of single, let's do that later.
Speaking of single, that's what I am. Hit me up, ladies. So we got Make Me a Sandwich. I just put it there, but yeah. I think Make Me a Sandwich was this weird song that, to me, was funnier than it actually was. And to you, it was like...
what one it was.
It was like, I can't handle the emotional damage. To me, I thought it was this really funny song where I opened up a little bit by the fact that I comfort eat. I would comfort eat when I was in a bad spot mentally. And I realized it's not really funny. I think Make Me a Sandwich, I think I tried to make it funny with the lyrics, because to me, I found it funny through like a cathartic means. But I remember a discussion we had while you were producing it. I was like, it's not really that funny. It's like it's a very serious song, really. It opens up saying "Gotta comfort eat." Of course, it's a fucking serious tone. And the emotional damage part, like if I had toned the rest of the song to be more reflective of a comedic song, I think it would have worked better. Personally.
Can we play? Can you edit in your original take of emotional damage before you replaced it with the meme sound? Can you edit that in the video?
Sure. How did it sound?
It just sounded like a shitty impression of it.
Alright, so this is actually going to be a live reaction to it, because I don't remember what it sounds like. So I've played pretty much right up to where it sounds, and then... Yeah. Okay. I'm so nervous, man. I'm so nervous. Fuck.
I can't tolerate all of the pressure caving in, pressing on my head, trying to hold myself up from certain death, even though fate was sealed for breath. I can't handle the emotional damage. Crack open the can of tuna, make me a set. I can't handle the emotional damage.
And this is where I think I realized, well, at the end of the writing process, just before I recorded it, that it was way more serious than I thought it was. Because the scrapped lyrics I had was after the whole opening bit, like, can't maintain this every day, it's gonna deplete. I get out of bed just to get back in again. Why the comfort of my sheets is my only friend. These insane thoughts in my head seem not too bad. Should I? Should I? Should I? Gotta eat and drink to stay in this putrid place. Can't you see the weight gain on my face? This behavior can't maintain good faith. So I think Make Me a Sandwich, I think falls flat, personally.
Oh yeah.
I think it's the least memorable song of the album.
Yeah, no, it just doesn't work conceptually. Like, there's the Fesh Pins sample where it's the Carlton saying "Make me a sandwich." I put that in to like go under it, and it just it doesn't really flow that well.
Yeah, because I
would put it on like 8.
I was thinking 9 actually.
Okay. Yeah, go for it.
Because I think it is like it's not just. I don't think it's just beneath Big Red Holding Commodore. I think it's a legitimate step down. So yeah, I think Make Me a Sandwich just falls flat conceptually, and I think it's also a very it just isn't a memorable song.
Yeah.
So here is the other one where it was a mixture of like a comedic element then with a very serious presentation, a high school diss track. I found just the title of this funny because we both decided to put it all in lowercase because it'd be funny. It's like because teachers always say start your sentences with a capital letter.
Oh, I didn't pick up on that. I think I just did it when
Yeah, no, but you were the one who told me that, and I was like, oh, that's great.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I think High School Diss Track is one where I had a legitimate like point to make, and I personally think I did pretty well like arguing my point. I think the sample of kids pics, I think to me, I think almost makes it go full circle because it's like primary school like memories, and then still coming together, and when I'm talking about high school.
The original production for it was just basically a trap remix of the YouTube premiere song, and like from the start I was like, this isn't going to be the final thing, this is like the starting point for what we do, and then I put in like the Kid Pix thing as like an ad-lib, and you sort of like reworked the lyrics to work with that point where there's like the fourth bar is going to have like a thing interrupting you, and then eventually the Kid Pix part got cut out. I think there's little snippets of it in
Wait a minute. Yikes.
The YouTube premiere sample it's chopped up in there a little bit.
It was in the beginning of the song, like dum, 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 and then that melody plays at the end as well.
Yeah, that melody is like that's stolen from like Loop Man. I can admit that it's an uncredited Loop Man sample.
I think one thing that I think the song does really, really well, which I'll also say, I guess, how we went through the production of the album. Baxter pretty much with this, at least with non-disclosure agreement, Baxter would make a beat. A lot of it was sample based. He develops a beat, and then he would just make like a 1 to 2 minute loop beat of it, and then he would send that to me. And then pretty much he made way more than the songs that were even on the album.
There was like 4 to 5 more, and they were all like unusable.
No, I think a couple of them. One of
Dragon Failure we ended up.
Dragon
that
Failure,
was made for the album originally.
Yeah. Well, look at that. We
And I know Always Want to Be Sober. We basically had the full song made because it's all it was just that big long sample of the. We'll go into it later, but
yeah.
That was the one where it basically wasn't a lip from the start.
Yeah. High School Diss Track. I think it was the perfect example of. With the loop beat, I developed an idea through it where, as Baxter said, I changed some of the lyrics to fit in with the loop. And then Baxter implemented that into the song itself, which is a bit sketchy how we did it, but I think in the end it worked really well, and I think High School Diss Track is probably one of the better songs in the album. I think personally, it sits at 5th.
Yeah, no, it's a good one because it is serious, but it's not, besides like the comedic aspect of the Kids Pix sample, there's not too much shit where it's like, oh, that was funny, he said my name Jeff, haha.
Yeah, I think it's one that it respects itself. I think out of all the songs, it's the perfect balance, I think, between comedic elements and seriousness. Alright, and so the next song we have Phonetical Statements. This one to me is a controversial song. Because this one was based off of a poem I wrote in 2019. Luna, get away from the cables, Luna! Fuck. I think Phonetical Statements, it was based off of, obviously I changed some of the lyrics, but yeah, it had elements that I think, and yeah, I reworded not too much of the poem, and I took away some bits and I added some that just emphasized some of the points I wanted to make. So there was only, I believe, one scrapped line, yeah. So the only like little mini line was, I feel so lost, where can I possibly go? Hello, I can't go anywhere but a plateau, slow, but certainly an entertaining show. That was in the poem, and I didn't like it, so I didn't include it. I think the production, I chose like the most serious sounding song we had to try and push this really serious song, and personally, I just don't think I delivered it well. I think I could have done a better job refining some of the lyrics and putting a bit more into it. How did you feel about the production?
The main struggle with it was getting sort of getting the drums to work in the right places and sort of figuring out when's the part where like there would be all the drums, and the part where there's just like little bits, because I sort of tried doing it like one bit at a time, where like this is gonna have like the hi-hats in it, this is gonna have the main thing in it, and I think a lot of it was like sample based as well, so it was sort of like snipping out bits of it and stuff. I would put it above Think Me Sandwich. I think it thematically it works a little bit more than how like messy Make a Sandwich is.
Yeah, I think it at least sticks to its like tone.
Yeah.
But besides that, I think it falls pretty flat. So after that we have Casual Sex. This song was I think it was the second song I wrote for the entire album. And it was the third song that I had started writing. The only notable thing that I've written down was that originally it was going to be called Sex Diss Track. And even still in the original Google Doc I have of it, I still have Sex Diss Track on the top. I decided not to call it Sex Diss Track because the initial concept was going to be like an incel who like berates and hates women because he can't get laid. That was the whole concept. Like this guy, like, I hate casual sex. Fuck this, but really he's just desiring sex and also scared of it because he hasn't done it. I think conceptually, I think casual sex absolutely pops off. And then with the beat we chose, I mentioned this so many times to the point where I forgot I had mentioned it to you. The beat was reminiscent of the Pornhub intro.
I believe the original sample of the main melody is from it's like an early Childish Gambino track from Poindexter mixtape, and yeah, the drums is completely changed. I completely redid those with like a breakbeat, and you were like, that's like the Pornhub song. Let's do a song about sex. And I'm like, that's got to be the sex one because it's like Pornhub. Like, it's just drums, bro.
And then like a week before the album released, I just completely forgot with my COVID fog brain. I'm like, I really like it. It's like the graphic I put on the wavelength. It was like the black and like goldish orange because it was reminiscent of Pornhub, and you're like, I fucking know.
Oh, in the visualizer.
Yeah.
No, and we had an argument over if the Pornhub color was orange or not because of your COVID fog brain, and I had to get up on a hex code thing. So like, hey, can you describe hex code website? Can you describe what color this is? And it's like orange. And you're like, yeah, but it's like a light orange. It's like yellow. It's like gold.
Let's skip it. It was the color. It was the calibration of my monitor, bro. The colors the RGB values weren't correct. I think conceptually, it stands up. I don't think it's the best lyricism, but I think from beginning to end with the beat and everything, it's just a song that went together really well.
My only complaint is the way that you end it is really fucking cringe.
Did we think about it?
If you think about it, I'm really making a song about it.
I thought that was me trying to like the channel like the idea of like a dude who's like really wanting pussy. And he's like,
alright, yeah, that's your excuse.
But yeah, I would say this one probably goes fourth, personally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we now have Always Want to Be Sober. So the weird thing about this, Always Want to Be Sober, the major interesting thing is that it didn't have any scrapped lyrics, but this was the second song that this is the second song that I had started writing, and it was I think fourth to last song that was actually written. I had like the whole bit from like the very beginning up until like the Why Does Halloween Gonna Be in October? That's like pretty much all I had written for the longest time. I just had no ideas, and then that was when we had so much of the rest of the album developed at that point. And so it was something that just came together really quickly. I put in like the voices in my head, my name Jeff, dressed like Drake, gonna make your balls ache. And then from there, it was just momentum. I was able to write it in one night and I was super happy with it. And then I recorded it the same night and it went to go. Like at the end, it went together so well. I think Always Want to Be Sober is probably, I don't think it's the best song, but I think it's my personal favorite of the entire album. I think just of how, to me, it was like the biggest difficulty for me to write. And then it became the easiest song at the end. And the delivery, it just was so natural. And I think conceptually as well, how we like added more ideas, like the bro, I'm tripping. Like we slow it down. Like I thought honestly it was like I think the best amalgamation of any of the songs.
No, I really wanted to do that thing at the end where you like sort of repeat the same thing and then slow it down. But I thought like conceptually it works for the song because it's about like well, it's sort of not about doing alcohol, drinking alcohol, which I think is funny about it. It's like, oh, let's have it. It's like trippy and out there at the end. But the production for this one was really, really fun. Like, it was when I had you over and we were like working on shit, and I was like, I'm just gonna fucking work on like a vaporwave project that I'm doing at the same time. And I had, it's from the Pokemon Battle Revolution for Wii. It's one of the songs.
Oh yeah, that one. Oh.
And it's like, it's not a good soundtrack, but I have like nostalgia for it. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna slow this down and do something with this. And you're like, hey, could we use that? And we sort of went through Looperman looking for like a drill type drum set, and they all had a really fucking heavy bass on it, and it sounded like shit. But eventually we had this one, and you were like, no, that's perfect, use that. Like, loop that, just copy and loop that for the whole fucking song. And then I was like, oh, well, I could do this fucking stupid thing for the intro where we have it at half speed, and then it slowly turns into regular speed. And I'm like, this is gonna sound so shit, and we did it, and it's like, that's pretty fucking good. There's a whole fucking song. Like,
And then yeah, we experimented that again, then slowing it down later in the song as well. We slowed it. I think it was like by by 1/4, and then again to then. Yeah, I think in my opinion, I think it's number 2 out of the entire out of all the songs.
Yeah.
I think it's like, I think the ones in the green, in my opinion, are like they just all of them are just good songs.
I think it's conceptually it's a bit all over the place. I remember like, because you came up with the idea of like, oh, it's a parody of like songs about getting drunk, but it's about like, I'm not getting drunk, I'm always sober, and we didn't flesh that out at all. It's like the one line in there where it's like, you squeeze it in there, you're like, well, after this, I always want to be sober. It's like at the end of a movie when they say the name of the movie.
Yeah, no, that's exactly how it felt like when I was writing it. Because I feel like honestly half of the chaos it went down after like, why is Halloween gonna be in October? And then it's just like these voices in my head, like it just feels like at that random moment I got like roofied. It's just like this constant chaos.
Oh my god, I forgot. There was I don't know. I think it didn't end up. I think it literally isn't in the song because I lost the file for it and didn't put it back in. There was originally a sample of when you say, I'm in the zone, there's a sample of Kanye West saying, don't let me get in my zone, and I only removed it because I lost the file. But I think the sequence where you're talking about like thinking of my teacher's ass in the class and on the road and I got a chode, that's fucking like peak the fucking album. That's so good. That whole sequence is fucking amazing because it's like, it's storytelling, the rhyme scheme is fucking amazing. That is like the peak.
Yeah, I think overall it's like by far, I think in my opinion, I don't think it's the absolute best song, but it's my favorite.
That was probably
it's the only one I will always sing along to.
That was probably one of the ones where I first started experimenting with like putting random sound effects in it, just because the lyrics are so like expressive, where it's like, oh, he's bringing this thing in, let's put a sound effect of this in. Oh, he's saying this, let's put a sound effect of this in. Like, I think there was also a Google Maps notification sound that I don't think got in the final version either.
I don't think so, no.
Because it was on beat and it went like do-do-do, and then I sort of clipped out last bit, so it was like do-do-do, and it sort of faded out.
Yeah.
But it wasn't in key, so I think I removed it.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
It was way more expressive originally.
So the next song, controversial one, Domino's State of Mind. What do you think about that?
It's fucking really good. Like, there's a reason we released it as a single. I think my only complaint about it is if the person who originally made the Barack Obama YTPMV found this, they would be really fucking like confused and sort of think it's pretty cringe. Like, I think because it's the original song, it's like an MF Doom song that they changed the melody to, but we sort of didn't like acknowledge the original sample that's copying. We're just like, let's just get that melody, put a drum beat over it, and then we sort of did some variation on it. So it's sort of, we turned it into the original thing, but it's like, it's not better than what it was an original like copy of. Yeah.
It was extremely transformative and it just completely changes it on its head.
Yeah.
I think Domino's State of Mind, as you said, like we released that as a single for a reason.
It's really fucking like the melody's really fucking catchy.
Yeah, it's been like this is this one I found really cool because it was inspired by me and you finishing a job.
Yeah.
And we finished at 9:40. I called up. It was gonna be about a 25-minute drive, so say I'll do it like 10:05. Oh, it rhymes. But it was really just that. And then as we were riding home, we just kept rapping about Domino's on the drive home. It was cut that, Darcy, cut it. I had like one version which like is so embarrassing I don't want to even show it.
Yeah, what was the original one? There was like a lyric in it that was like, it just didn't make any fucking sense, and I'm like, why does that need to
Sister
be
of
there?
the Shed.
But then there was the no, because it's like a blood pool except the wine. That's in the final version, isn't it?
Yeah.
I didn't like that originally. I'm like, what the fuck does it even mean? And you're like, it's a rap song, bro. It doesn't matter.
I wanted to have it because I originally I like the end chorus compared to the first one. That's the only line that deviates.
Like a blood pool, except
the wine, Domino's State of Mind. I liked it personally just because it was a really nice deviation from just the chorus. It rhymed. still, because I didn't change the part that actually rhymed in it. And I thought blood pool because red wine, red blood.
It's like, what's the correlation with that?
Shut up. But yeah, I think overall it's a song that it's like it plays enough now to the point where I'm pretty sick of it. I think my
Okay.
sister is here.
Ever stop it?
Yeah, no, we'll just keep going.
I can't handle the emotional damage. Crack.
All right, and so next song on the album we have Random Anthem. I'll let you talk about it first.
Well, the original sample was it's from a vaporwave album that we played a lot during gigs. So sort of like when we needed like intermission music or like everything starting up music, we'd play that. And we sort of sped it back because it's very slow. We sped it back up in order for it to work and sort of worked with how fucking compressed and reverbed it was. But I think it's the one sample where on YouTube it picked up the original sample for it because it was slowed down and we sped it back up, so it's extremely similar to the original.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was the one where we went like full ham with all the sound effects and we shoved in like as much as we could.
Yeah, so Random Anthem, half the reason it's called Random Anthem is because it was literally pretty much every scrapped lyric I had in like the ideas list that we had. I thought that was a really neat idea where it was just like all these like little one-liners that I just really liked out of all the lyric ideas, and I just had no way to properly put them into the other songs. So I put them just like sort of try to make it cohesive between the lyrics. So there were moments where they were talking about a pet rock, and then I just end it like, tough of disdain to sustain, what it contains rather mundane. It's just a rock. And then that's the end of this little mini like narrative I had developed about rocks and stuff. So the only part of Random Anthem that had scrapped lyrics, actually, so I had a few, and it was just, I had no idea how to present the song initially. So it was, I've got a pet rock, I slam him on my cock, everyone heard the scream around the block, the bruise was really blue, it was so bad it even hurt you. I'm pretty sure we worked together on that lyric.
Yeah.
And then there was another one, eating fondue round the clock. I really want to eat the ice cream. I dream, I scream, sorbet is all I've seen. I thought that was nice, but I actually like sorbet, so I didn't want to like diss sorbet. Then here was the way it was going to end initially. Never mind that, I'm better than Matt Pat. That's just a theory. ... Lol. Baxter made fun of me for that. And then there was one more.
You spelled Matt Pat wrong as well.
I know, I felt that funny.
I know.
Yeah. Then there was another one, just before that, I love your partner, what a great spouse. It was between the legs I see open, can't wait to go to the fallopian. Between the trousers, I got these powers. But yeah, I think Random Anthem is a pretty decent execution
I
of
like
like
how
a chaotic song.
goofy and like fun the beat is.
Goofy
despite, like,
R-beat.
Yeah, no, it's really like high energy and fun.
Yeah, no, I think the delivery is like one of the best.
Yeah.
The sad thing is that it's like, this is like, that's like, I feel like Random Anthem is what the album wanted to be, just this like really high energy, really chaotic thing. I honestly think Random Anthem kind of, I feel like move everything down, it sits fourth.
I would move Domino Should Have Mine back up to 1 and put it on next to Always Wanna Be Sober, I think. I think it's about as good as that.
Yeah.
Up to you. You can put it on 3 if you want.
Thing is,
Because I don't think it's on the same level as Casual Sex. I think Casual Sex isn't as good.
I think it's better than Casual Sex, but
Yeah.
I think move them down. I think Random Anthem, it comes together really well, but I think it does just fall flat because the lyrics don't go anywhere, but I think that's kind of the whole point of the song as well. So for next song, we have High School Diss Track Remix, which was made by Frequent Tangents. He's a good friend of mine. I think it's just a really solid song. I feel bad necessarily rating it compared to the rest because it's a completely different style of song.
Mm-hmm.
I think for what it is, like it perfectly achieves the idea of like a house song. It's like really chill, vibey. I think like out of anything, it's like all the songs like from like 5 to like 8, in my opinion, are like all pretty decent songs already.
Mm-hmm.
So like I feel bad putting them in like the orange and red areas, like, but like they're all pretty good songs really. I think the Frequent Tangents remix, I think personally sits around 7.
I would put it next to the original.
You think next to the original?
I think it's as good as the original.
All right. Well,
The main thing was I didn't get anything out of, like, because normally someone does a remix of something I do and I'm like, that's the fucking coolest thing ever. I didn't get anything out of this because I didn't make the original piano melody, so I guess someone's like doing a remix of it. It's like, yeah, okay.
yeah.
Cool.
It's like someone put like Big Dooms That Cannot Lie. Like you would just be like, damn,
Yeah,
that's
that's
so
fucking
funny.
awesome, yeah.
Whoa. Yeah, I'm fine actually for them to sit coincided. I think it makes a lot of sense. All right, so we got the last song of the Non-Disclosure Agreement album. We have Supercar. I think Supercar is a song that I think
it is a song.
Yeah, I think lyricism-wise, this was actually one that I think I gave Baxter a pretty difficult thing to produce for.
Oh, no, this was sort of me learning to, like, do something more minimal with music, because, like, I did it in the style that I do something on, like, my Strung Structure album, where it's sort of like, I've chopped up each of the, like, stems individually, and I've made drum beats with it, and there's, like, 5 things going on at once. And the original version of it was way messier, just because I'm like, chuck everything on at once and it'll sound good. And I sort of learned, like, if you can mix it well enough and get, like, a minimal amount of drums, it sounds way better. And
Yeah.
I think eventually, like, at the end, there's an original drum beat, like, for the ending of the album, because it's like, oh, I can get
It was
it to
and it was
sound
in the same chord progression as Domino's State of Mind.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the main start of it starts with, like, a sample of Domino's line, or, like, the vocal bit in it and everything.
And the whole thing is that it's in the exact same tempo as because I actually rapped over the Domino's State of Mind beat for it, and then I sort of gave Baxter the task of them making a whole new to produce a whole new beat to me rapping over the Domino's State of Mind one. I think I chose Domino's State of Mind because overall I think Domino's State of Mind was a really strong song because it was like the perfect speed for me to have like clever lyricism and have like a lot of energy delivered in it. And I thought Supercar was a song that I wanted to acknowledge the entire album, make references to, and I think that was at a speed where it wasn't slow, but it was fast enough to where it was fast paced and it wasn't too difficult. Because I'm pretty sure Supercar, besides the High School Diss Track, is the longest song of the album. Or at least one of the longest songs. Either that or Always Want to Be Sober.
I think Always Want to Be Sober is pretty big, yeah.
But either of but that, you know, it's one of the biggest songs of the entire album. I think lyricism-wise, I'm really happy up until I think where I start talking about Family Guy. I have like one there. Farley, Chris, Pat Parks, and Recreation got a bad reputation. That's just where I was finding a way to hit, like, to go to the end, where I think I should have just ended. Besides that, I'm really happy. I'm really happy because I feel like Supercut in some ways, I think, brings some of the elements I wanted to talk about the Big Red Holden Commodore. Some of the lines I did that I almost wanted to rewrite Big Red Holden Commodore and re-record because of what I had written in Supercut. Same thing as I forget one of the songs. I think it was Make Me a Sandwich. I think it was just a lot of elements where I loosely reference the other songs of the album, and I just thought it worked really well. I think it's a nice song to listen to by itself, and if you listen to it at the end of the entire album, it's really fulfilling to listen to. In regards to where it sits, what do you reckon?
I would put it next to Non-Disclosure Agreement.
Yeah. I think Supercut was, it was kind of, Supercut had like the same idea as Non-Disclosure Agreement, where it was the big thing of the whole album. Where Non-Disclosure Agreement wanted to be, you know, the big title track, and had big, you know, I guess had ambitious ideas that didn't fully get executed. Supercut was it brought together the whole album better than Non-Disclosure Agreement did. But I think some of the lyricism, the concepts besides that, fall flat.
Yeah.
Well, we got one more song. We have
Okay.
Drag and Failure. I'm going to spoil it already. I think it goes under Always Want to Be Sober. I think it goes in
You're
third.
fucking insane.
I'm insane. That's my personal opinion, but I'm happy to...
The whole fucking beat is so compressed because I made it in like a day. Or like, it was one of the ones that I did, but when I was mixing it, I'm like, let's just make everything fucking way too loud. And then it's like, this is good, let's just drop that. And then like the whole thing around it's like, no, let's make the music video, it's just me on a green screen, and that's it. And then the album cover, it's this shit. Like, do you have fucking like $300 cameras? And it's like, I'm just gonna take a photo with my phone and just make Photoshop myself onto it. And then it's like, no, it's bad on purpose. That's the point. It's funny, and it's like, it fucking sucks.
I think the lyricism, I think it's one of the better ones. I think the energy, compared to the other ones.
No, I thought, because you got the scrapped lyrics where you name drop Activision, and like, in the scrapped lyrics, it's like, you're telling a story about the game and everything, where it's like, it's way more coherent. In the final one, it's just like, I don't like this game, it's bad, no. In the scrapped lyrics, it's like, Activision, your game isn't that good. I played in the thing and the intro was really good, but then the rest of the game wasn't that good.
I thought I didn't like it because randomly I referenced the thirstiest time of the year and me the Sprite. I said that lyric. I thought it, but it didn't even but it was like too many syllables and I just like crammed it in.
Then just remove that part. You didn't need to scrap the whole fucking verse.
I scrapped it. I liked what I had written.
Sing it. Scrap it.
Well, open the game cover, a PS2 disc galore, see the game intro, is it worth waiting for? Same intro, I liked that.
I know.
You got the game made by Activision, but the quality of the game is in a division. You go through the slow and boring fight, quick time event, gonna need a nightlight.
Yeah, see,
Loading screen so long, go grab a
event.
bite light, audio wish is present, now that ain't alright. Rewrite the narrative, leave me uptight. Recite the story, fakes being faithful, despite thirstiest time of the year, hand me the Sprite.
No, that's a great way to wrap it up. That's fucking so much better than what we ended up
Kung
going
Fu Panda. I mean, if we want, we could have Kung Fu Dragon Success.
No, because everyone fucking... Yeah, it's about how awesome it is.
You Kung Fu Panda, you had it all there. You're an amazing game, no question
I prefer that
there.
more because it's like the song you hear at the end of a movie where it's like, we're wrapping up everything that happened in the movie. This thing happened, and then this thing happened. Like,
Oh, it was so
because it was a way to
moving.
end the video as well. So it would have been perfect to like
Yeah.
actually mention stuff that was a part, that was in the game and yada yada.
Yeah. All right, you've thoroughly convinced me.
Yeah.
Um.
You're full of hype because it's the latest thing you've made. So it's
Yeah.
this is the fucking best thing ever.
I thought the vote, like, what I did for the lyricism at least was like it was nice, but I think you're right.
Your
it
flow's good or whatever.
Yeah, the flow. Yeah. I thought also like how I presented my vocals. I thought was nice.
Is that not explicit? Do you not swear in that song?
No.
You're going Will Smith style, Big Willie style,
Big wing wang style.
big penis style,
Ha 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 ha.
big cock dick style.
No! Alright, well, Baxter's convinced me. I think above Big Red Holden Commodore.
Next to Bigger Holden Commodore.
You think next to?
Because I think Supercut's a bit better than it.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's beneath that, but I think
Because
it's above
you wouldn't
that.
shut up about how great Supercut is. You're like, I think it really ends the album really good, and I think it does its purpose really well. It's like Dragon Failure. I didn't think it does its purpose really well. I don't think as the ending to the video it was perfect.
You know, actually, I agree with that. Thinking about it, yeah, you've thoroughly changed my mind on that.
Because you put High School Diss Track at... My old man, you put it at 6 because it does its purpose really well. It tells the story that it's trying to do, and if that's the goal, then like Dragon Failure didn't do that well.
Alright.
I think it was a Dragon Failure.
All right, well, let's.
Yeah, there we go. Move them all back up, and that's they're all great actually.
All right, let me just. Now it's like the really awkward time where like we just like don't acknowledge the recording. We just move it up. I think.
Speed it up, and then I'll be in the background.
All right, well, I think High School Diss Track, given it's a derivative of the original, I think it goes below. And then.
What?
I think Make Me a Sandwich is the lowest.
The belowest.
And then.
I got these phonetical statements. Damn, Dragon Failure. Okay, all right.
And I think Non-Disclosure Agreement is lower than Supercar.
Yeah, I agree.
So to wrap it all up, so for the worst song, I think Make Me a Sandwich. I think conceptually, it had at least an idea that could have worked, but it just and every single chance I had to write it, I didn't take advantage of its concept, and I think it made it difficult for Baxter to also produce for it.
Yeah.
I think it sits as the worst song I have made.
Emotional damage.
Phonetical Statements, I think again for me, it's a song that I don't think necessarily is bad. It had like a really serious style, but I just don't think it really hit any of the notes I was hoping to. It just is like, it's dramatic for the sake of being dramatic. I think Big Red Holding Commodore, I think it's a song that had like, it was just really ambitious. And for the very first song I was writing, I think it just, I think I gave myself too much to chew. Dragon Failure, after talking to Baxter, me thinking it was like one of the best, I find it really
I
funny.
just fucking shut all over it.
Yeah, no, honestly, like, it makes like thorough sense what you mean though. It had a concept, the old lyricism, even if it was touched up a tiny bit, would have been way better.
Yeah.
It feels like, yeah, thinking about it now, it's like a face value insult of the game. And yeah, like the whole thing, I treated it was like a bit of a shit post, which I probably should have taken a bit more seriously, maybe.
Yes.
So yeah, I think 9th is honestly a pretty fitting position. Non-disclosure agreement, as we had talked about, I think it's a song that had big ideas to sort of set up the album, you know, sort of the big launching pad to go into the other songs, but it felt like it was quite disconnected from the rest of the album. I think I conceptualized that probably like maybe 70% into most of the other songs being made. So
yeah.
It was something that it had an idea of talking band, like burn, and that was like the only idea that
That's what it took over the whole fucking song, and it was like, this is gonna be like the title track, which is like the most important one, and it's like, well, it's not even talking about a non-disclosure agreement.
Yeah. That was just like random.
Can we establish that we only called it non-disclosure agreement because you originally wanted to call it NDA as a instead of NWA, and that was like the pun.
No, I liked what they had done with NWA.
But you didn't even call it NDA.
I wanted to call it NDA, but then you said that would just be a straight rip-off. So like, fine, I like the name non-disclosure agreement anyways, because that's what an NDA
but then
is.
It's so forced because the song doesn't have anything to do with a non-disclosure agreement. It's just like, it sounds cool.
No, it's because you don't talk about this shit, man. Yeah. I mean, that itself, honestly, I think the name of the song's fine.
I entirely forgot about that. That was the whole reason we made that fucking song. And it's like, oh, of course it's called non-disclosure agreement. It's like, why?
Yeah, that's why I probably want to rewrite the title track for the next album, or at least like give it more, maybe. I'll show you later, anyways. Yeah. So Supercut, I think it was a better version of non-disclosure agreement, honestly. But it wasn't anything more. Where Supercut, I felt like it was supposed to be like the big wrap up, and I felt like it just kind of, it was just like a great way to reference all the songs, which I think would have been a pretty cool way for NDA to do it, but it didn't do it. 6th with the Frequent Tangents remix of High School Diss Track. I think it's just a really nice, chill song based on High School Diss Track. I think Frequent Tangents, my friend, he does a great job using the stems of High School Diss Track. Even puts in some of the vocals every now and then. High School Diss Track, I think pretty much from like 6 onwards, it's like if they perfectly sort of lay out like the concept that was intended in the song. High School Diss Track, it was a big thing where I insulted school, I like the system and things like that, and how some teachers react. I think some of the lyrics were pretty firm on that, and I'm pretty happy with it. I was pretty happy with just the overall process of the entire production, including what you did as well. Casual Sex, I think.
Something I detest.
Maybe because it's sex, I'm never blessed. Possessed like a demon inside your head, filled with dread. A girl wants me in her bed, like will it be good or bad? Maybe I shouldn't have a spread. And I think Casual Sex is it's a song that just perfectly feels out of the air. Shut the. Oh, I'm gonna. It's a song that I just thought was really funny. I really enjoyed rapping it, and I think overall it came out really funny and really enjoyable to listen to. For number 3, Random Anthem. I think Random Anthem was just really funny with the goofy R beat, and with the lyrics being quite chaotic. I thought it just came together really nicely. It's just something that was just to complement the album, and I think it really improved.
It is part of the album.
Well, initially I had it to be an extra song for it. That was my whole idea, just use the scrap lyrics, but I think it's turned out to be like something that improved the overall quality of it.
Yeah, Random Anthem and Supercar are very like, fucking make more, do another one. He's just like, throw shit together.
Oh, with full transparency, I did try that around the end of the album's production or development. I wanted to make more because the album was so close to hitting 20 minutes in total length. I remember making that a bit of a point.
Is that how long is that only?
It's a bit over 20.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, because a lot of the
That's
songs,
so short.
a lot of the songs were only like a minute and a half.
Yeah.
A minute. So
I've done an album that's like an hour long and it's way too fucking long. Like, you don't want that kind of shit.
yeah, I wanted something to at least hit 20 minutes.
Especially for like it's like a mixtape style thing as well.
Yeah.
Like it's not it's produced as an album, but it's a rap thing where each thing's kind of doing something a little bit different.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Random Anthem, it was way better than it was intended to be. And I think overall it really does deserve, I think, the third place out of all the songs.
Yes.
Always Want to Be Sober, as I said, it's my personal favorite. I think just the lyricism, it came together really nicely. It used the ideas that I had scrapped even in my very, very first song. And I felt like Always Want to Be Sober, I was really connected to that song, I think partly because of that. Conceptually with the production and all of that, I think that was the most interactive experience out of all of the songs. So that we had together, because a lot of the time it was quite separate, the ideas we had for the beats. That I had like suggestions, but a lot of the time it was just over Discord or something like that. So I think Always Want to Be Sober was just really fun to make, I think for both of us really. And yeah, Domino's State of Mind. It's the best song. It's the best song of the album. It's why it was released as the single. It was funny because it was the third last song to be written for the entire album. Random Anthem was written before it, as example. And it was the first song I actually had recorded, just to test the waters. And then you released the demo. We didn't touch it after that.
For what one?
Domino's State of Mind.
Yeah.
We recorded the demo, and I was blown away. Just like, because I'll be honest, I don't think I sound that good, just my natural voice. Baxter did an absolutely standout job fixing me up.
I think a lot of it's slightly bit crushed because I think it's like a really good way to compress it where everything sounds sort of more like together and compact.
Domino's State of Mind, whether or not I've heard it enough times where I feel cranky at it, it's an amazing song. I played it to my nephews when we had the demo first come out. He still hums the beat. I think just for that fact, it's like the song that I think is by far my best.
That's how the Supercar goes. It's something like that.
Darude Sandstorm. But yeah, I will say that's it. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it,
listen to the album again.
Loop Circuit. Yeah. Woo.
Hire me to produce your music.
Yeah. Produce your socials. Do the like we did last time.
Twitter. Wait, fuck. Twitter. Bandcamp. NeoCities. That's the main one.
Yeah.
NeoCities has all my links on it. Go there.
All in the description, baby.
Yes. Don't keep that in.
We're keeping it.
Don't keep that in.
I'm going to cut that bit, but it's just like, don't keep that in.
It just cuts to, yeah. Keep that in. Keep us saying you'll edit it that way.
Yeah. And I'm recording.
Yeah, it's been a long day, it's a 9:40 finish. I'm not fussy, I'm definitely not pickish. When to grab pizza, when I get home, I'm gonna eat it. Whilst I sit on the throne, it's gonna be a 25-minute drive. Call up, I'll pick up at 10:05. Kitchen, cooking up a whiz. So good, you can call it